Alright, y'all, here are the ingredients I will be using today in making the world famous shrimp tray from San Pedro. I have some corn on the cob, some tomatoes, some bell peppers. I try to get one in each color. And then I'll be using some red potatoes. And then I will be using two 2-pound bags of shrimp. You can use only one bag of shrimp, but I have a big family, so I'll be using them all. I'll be using some garlic salt, garlic powder, some paprika, some Creole seasoning, some sazon, and some black pepper. I will also be using some French bread. This one's garlic flavored, and then I got this garlic spread, which is really good. And then I'll also be adding that on top of the shrimp tray. I'm going to start off by chopping up my potatoes. I'm going to cut them in fours. You do not have to cut them up, but this will help the cooking process, and I just prefer to have pieces of potato versus a whole potato in there. Since potatoes do take a while to cook, I'm going to put them to boil for about 10 minutes. While the potatoes cook, I'm going to start chopping up the bell peppers, and this is how I'm going to cut them up. I'm going to take out the stem part there, and then I'm going to just cut them like this in slices, and I will do this to each bell pepper. Next, I'm going to start cutting up the tomato, and I'm going to cut them like this in wedges. Now that our veggies are chopped up, I'm now going to add in the sticks of butter so they can start melting. I'm gonna start off with a stick and a half, and then I'll let that melt, and then I'm gonna season it with some of the seasonings I'll be using. As I start adding in the ingredients, then I will add in more butter. Now that our butter has melted, I'm going to add in the bell peppers, and then I'm going to let that cook for about 3 minutes before I add in the potatoes. Alright, so this is what our bell peppers look like after 3 minutes. Now I'm going to add in the potatoes. You want to occasionally be stirring the potatoes and the bell peppers. I'm going to let this cook for about 10 minutes. Alright, you want to make sure that your potatoes are not hard, but if they are, then I would just add maybe 5 more minutes to the cooking time until they get that nice soft consistency before adding in the tomatoes, as I just did. And you want to mix everything in together with the butter, the tomatoes, the potatoes. Now that I have a lot of the veggies and the potatoes and the tomatoes in there, this is when I'm going to now add in the rest of the butter. And then I will add in some more of the seasoning. Alright, now that our veggies are done, I have set those aside, and now I'm going to start cooking the shrimp. I'm going to melt butter, season the butter, and once that's melted, here I'm going to start adding in the shrimp, and I'm just going to coat that with the butter. The shrimp is already cooked, so I just need to coat it with the butter, season it. And then you want to do a little taste test and taste the shrimp to see if it needs any more seasoning. Alright, the shrimp looks nicely coated with the seasoning with butter, so now it's time to add it into our tray. All right, here I've already placed the veggies into the tray, and I'm going to add in a little bit of shrimp at a time and then mix it together, and then add more shrimp, mix it together, and so on and so on. Next, I'm going to align the tray with the corn on the cob. I have 8 pieces, so I will align it with 4 pieces on one side and the other 4 on the other side, just like this. You just want to snuggle them in there. Alright, y'all, this is what our tray looks like. This looks so delicious. I cannot wait to dig in. And here is the cherry on top. I have added the loaf of bread, of garlic bread, to each side, just like this. It smells so good. I really can't wait to dig in. Here is my plate. I've added a little bit of everything, and I still have my cup from San Pedro from the piña colada. And you know, if you've been there, you know those piña coladas are so freaking good. So I've made myself a piña colada with my San Pedro cup. And of course, we have to have some Pacifico beer on the side.